Black Cherry Puppet Theater presents Virtual Puppet Slamwich, 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 Slamwich.
Mayday, Mayday, puppets are back! Welcome everyone to the Black Cherry Puppet Theater's virtual Slamwich. We are back. It's been a while, like a whole year, but guess what? We are still here. Thank you to Michael Lamason, Black Cherry's director and facilitator of magic, for holding down the fort during this crazy pandemic. And thank you to the HBH Fund for continuing to support these slams. Another big thank you to all city and state arts funding for helping to keep organizations and artists afloat during these uncertain times. That said, Black Cherry is still working hard to support artists we host because creation is work. So if you are watching this, please take a moment now, during, or after viewing to click that donation link and send some love to our artists. It's really important. We have a superstar cast of artists for you this go around. The show is nearly bursting at the seams, so I'm going to trust you all to be fully prepared with the best reactions and participation, as if you too are early spring buds ready to bloom. So without further ado, here is your host.
Hey everyone, it's me. I've just been blobbing around since last spring, though boy, a lot has happened. I can't wait to tell you about what I've been up to. But first, let's enjoy this piece by Sam Grossman and the Motherload.
Cabin fever, know the signs. So, adventurers, you find yourself trapped indoors for a prolonged period of time. Luckily, there are many ways to occupy yourself until you are able to return outside. Assuming that you have food stores and do not need to scavenge, finding entertainment will be your one defense against cabin fever.
Hey, Sugar, Spud's still in the back keeping an eye on things, but the boss really hashed him out. I think he's about to get fried. Shame, too. He's got a new plate of tots back at home. Anyway, I gotta go spill the beans.
We will now discuss the phases, progression, and transmission of cabin fever. Phase 1. In Phase 1, your symptoms will be largely psychological. You can expect to experience a decrease in motivation, impatience, depression, anxiety, and hopelessness, as well as difficulty sleeping, an inability to focus, and peculiar food cravings. Phase 2. Once the general malaise of Phase 1 subsides, Phase 2 often brings a second wind, a false sense of hope, if you will. In this phase, you will start more hobbies than is realistic. Although it is possible you will continue with these hobbies, you will undoubtedly discard all of the most useful skills, opting instead for the hobby or skill that requires the least effort. Which leads us to Phase 3, sourdoughs and pickling.
Welcome back to Binging with Cabbage, where this week we'll be making coleslaw.
Oh, God! Oh, Lord! Ah!
Phase 12. In Phase 6, you achieved a deeper relationship with your pets, or, in some cases, plants. In Phase 12, you will expand on this idea. Dogs, birds, and even cats can be taught to communicate through simple picture boards. We see here that Fluffy is holding his paw on the food symbol. Fido is using a more complicated approach. What is that, Fido? There are visitors at the door? My mistake. It's just time for a walk. Keep at it. You've got the time. Phase 33. After finishing all of the books in your cabin, you'll be convinced that you can write your own novel. Remember, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The hero's journey is a tired and convenient device that you can joylessly move your characters around from point A to point B. Phase 34. With the success of your first novel, you will be drunk on your own creative power, which is why in Phase 34, you will write a puppet show and inconvenience your friends by asking them to act, film, and edit your poorly written show. Phase 130. In the final phase of cabin fever, you will notice that you have become a rustic cabin.
It's 11.
Wow, I can totally relate to all those cabin fever feelings. Thank goodness it's finally spring. Do you like my Mayday crown? It makes me want to frolic in the meadow while watching this new timely piece by Marian McLaughlin.
Let me tell you, I was just in the garden planting some seeds, digging up dirt, and I came across this bug in the ground. It looked sleepy. It looked like a shrimp or something. It was curled up, it had these little claws, and, I found a couple of them actually, a whole lot of them. I learned that they're actually cicadas, not shrimp. Obviously, it's in the ground, not the sea. And I actually met one of the cicadas and decided to write a little song about her. Acacia the cicada patiently waited for spring. She slept for 17 years, then rose from the ground to sing. La 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 cicada. La 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 cicada. Acacia, it's nice to meet you. You too, Shiv. So, I learned that you're a cicada, but that's also a cicada, so how is that possible? The two of you look completely different. Well, see, it's just about the different times of our lives. Bugs go through life cycles, and sometimes we look different depending on where we are in the cycle. Think about a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Oh, that's a good point. So I imagine because you have wings, you might be farther along in your life cycle. Exactly. When cicadas are in the ground, we are developing and we are nymphs. We don't have wings yet. We're just getting there. Then when it gets warm and it feels right, we rise in the ground, we attach to a tree, we molt out of our exoskeletons, and we grow wings. Yes, we grow wings, and we climb to the top of the tree and we sing. You've got a really good vibrato. Well, thank you. Acacia, you've been underground for 17 years. Would you like to sing a song for us? Oh, absolutely. Yes. It's what I live to do. All right. Well, let's hear something. Oh, okay. I'm a little nervous. It's been a while, but here we go. First song of the season. Oh, I'm so excited. A little nervous, but excited. Thank you, Acacia, for singing for us. You're welcome. Could you sing another song for us? Absolutely. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. good. It sounded just like the other song, but it had passion to it. Oh, well, thank you. We make that kind of sound. Sort of sound like a sprinkler head going and we do the go from soft to loud, like yeah, good musical dynamics. Well, it was nice to meet you and sing for you, but I gotta go to the treetops now and be with my millions of brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, and my great aunts, my grandma, everybody. Well, I'll see you later. Bye. Happy cicada season. Bye, Acacia.
I feel like after this past year, I can better relate to the cicada. It certainly feels like 17 years since I've emerged. I've got to relearn how to be social. Luckily, I just got my second vaccination. I'm hoping its effect on Blobfish is less intense. Let's give it up for Abby Holgerson and her debut Black Cherry performance. I did get to go on a road trip during this past year. I got to hang out with my pal Corny at the world's only corn palace, and I got to check out the Badlands. The stars were amazing. Next, we have another debut performer bringing some dance our way. Here is Jia Le Ling with Bird Dance. That was beautiful. Makes me want to dance too. Now for a work in progress by Peter Redgrave and Valeska Populoh.
I reach the Grayson Highlands, adjacent to the Appalachian Trail. And as I'm climbing up that peak, I will be smiling just to see the landscape at a different kind of scale. I'm looking for some clarity. It's a rarity these days, but when I'm in nature, things become so spacious. So I will sing with highest praise the Grayson Highlands. I will sing with highest praise the Grayson Highlands. I must be patient until I reach the Grayson Highlands, adjacent to the Appalachian Trail. And as I'm climbing up that peak, I will be silent, I will not speak, for there's plenty for my senses to unveil. I'm looking for a remedy, a gentle cleanse, serenity, something that is chaste. And when I'm in nature, I perceive its greatness and grace. So I will take care of this place and leave no trace at the Grayson Highlands. I'm just so grateful to be at the Grayson Highlands.
Sometimes it's just so nice to take a deep breath and take in your surroundings. Oh yeah, did I mention I'm in Alaska? Resisting the gloom with you all from the far north. Now for a cranky piece by Philip McKnight and Friends.
The train clanked and rattled through the suburbs of Tokyo on a drowsy spring afternoon. Our car was comparatively empty, a few housewives with their kids in tow, some old folks going shopping. I gazed absently at the drab houses and dusty hedgerows. At one station, the doors opened, and suddenly the afternoon quiet was shattered by a man bellowing violent, incomprehensible curses. The man staggered into our car. He wore laborer's clothing, and he was big, drunk, and dirty. Screaming, he swung at a woman holding a baby. The blow sent her spinning into the laps of an elderly couple. It was a miracle that the baby was unharmed. Terrified, the couple jumped up and scrambled toward the other end of the car. The laborer aimed a kick at the retreating back of the old woman, but missed as she scuttled to safety. This so enraged the drunk that he grabbed the metal pole in the center of the car and tried to wrench it out of its stanchion. I could see that one of his hands was cut and bleeding. The train lurched ahead, the passengers frozen with fear. I stood up. I was young then, some 20 years ago, and in pretty good shape. I'd been putting in a solid 8 hours of Aikido training nearly every day for the past 3 years. I liked to throw and grapple. I thought I was tough. Trouble was, my martial art skill was untested in actual combat. As students of Aikido, we were not allowed to fight. Aikido, my teacher had said again and again, is the art of reconciliation. Whoever has the mind to fight has broken his connection with the universe. If you try to dominate people, you are already defeated. We study how to resolve conflict, not how to start it. I listened to his words. I tried hard. I even went so far as to cross the street to avoid the pinball punks who lounged around the train stations. My forbearance exalted me. I felt both tough and holy. In my heart, however, I wanted an absolutely legitimate opportunity where I might save the innocent by destroying the guilty. This is it, I said to myself, getting to my feet. People are in danger, and if I don't do something fast, they will probably get hurt. Seeing me stand up, the drunk recognized the chance to focus his rage. He roared, "A foreigner! You need a lesson in Japanese manners." I held on lightly to the commuter strap overhead and gave him a slow look of disgust and dismissal. I planned to take this turkey apart, but he had to make the first move. I wanted him mad, so I pursed my lips and blew him an insolent kiss. "All right," he hollered, "you're gonna get a lesson." He gathered himself for a rush at me. A split second before he could move, someone shouted, "Hey!" It was ear-splitting. I remember the strangely joyous, lilting quality of it, as though you and a friend had been searching diligently for something, and he suddenly stumbled upon it. "Hey!" I wheeled to my left. The drunk spun to his right. We both stared down at a little old Japanese man. He must have been well into his 70s. This tiny gentleman sitting there immaculate in his kimono. He took no notice of me, but beamed delightedly at the laborer, as though he had a most important, most welcome secret to share. "Come here," the old man said in an easy vernacular, beckoning to the drunk. "Come here and talk with me." He waved his hand lightly. The big man followed as if on a string. He planted his feet belligerently in front of the old gentleman and roared above the clanking wheels. "Why the hell should I talk to you?" The drunk now had his back to me, and if his elbow moved so much as a millimeter, I'd drop him in his socks. The old man continued to beam at the laborer. "What you been drinking?" he asked, his eyes sparkling with interest. "I've been drinking sake," the laborer bellowed back, "and it's none of your business." Flecks of spittle spattered the old man. "Oh, that's wonderful," the old man said. "Absolutely wonderful. You see, I love sake too. Every night, me and my wife, she's 76, you know, we warm up a little bottle of sake and take it out into the garden, and we sit on an old wooden bench. We watch the sun go down, and we look to see how our persimmon tree is doing. My great-grandfather planted that tree, and we worry about whether it will recover from those ice storms we had last winter. Our tree's done better than I expected, though, especially when you consider the poor quality of the soil. It is gratifying to watch when we take our sake and go out to enjoy the evening, even when it rains." He looked up at the laborer, eyes twinkling. As he struggled to follow the old man's conversation, the drunk's face began to soften, his fists slowly unclenched. "Yeah," he said, "I love persimmons too." His voice trailed off. "Yes," said the old man, smiling, "and I'm sure you have a wonderful wife." "No," replied the laborer, "my wife died," very gently swaying with the motion of the train. The big man began to sob. "I don't got no wife, I don't got no home, I don't got no job, I'm ashamed of myself." Tears rolled down his cheeks, a spasm of despair rippled through his body. Now it was my turn, standing there in my well-scrubbed youthful innocence, my make this world safe for democracy righteousness. I suddenly felt dirtier than he was. Then the train arrived at my stop. As the doors opened, I heard the old man cluck sympathetically. My, he said, "that is a difficult predicament, indeed. Sit down here and tell me about it." I turned my head for one last look. The laborer was sprawled on the seat, his head in the old man's lap. The old man was softly stroking the filthy, matted hair. As the train pulled away, I sat down on a bench. What I had wanted to do with muscle had been accomplished with kind words. I had just seen Aikido tried in combat, and the essence of it was love. I would have to practice the art with an entirely different spirit. It would be a long time before I could speak about the resolution of conflict.
This sure is a beautiful place. Next up, we have Dirk Jopseph. This is the Bunnell Art Center building where I've been staying. There is this super cool buoy sculpture out front I like to hang out on and catch some sun. Our next piece is by Alex and Olmstead.
Hey everyone, my name is Naomi. I play in a band called Populoh, and I'm gonna sing you a song called The Real. Story goes, but no one knows what's real for sure. Opinions, dominion, curl up in your world. Discourse, discord, the tables turned. No experts, not sure. The real, the real, the real, real. Societies underneath this altered reality. Diagnose your own cure. Find a way to believe. You're reading magazines. You're reading magazines. The mirror speaking. Are you for real, real?
Look, the crocuses are blooming in Alaska. Next to some moose poop. Hooray for spring! And now, a piece by Cecilia Cackley. Viva Frida. Friends, we've made it to our final piece. Don't forget to go find yourself a maypole, support workers' rights, and resist the gloom. Give it up for Jess Rassp and her piece To Be a Wild Vulture. See you all on the flip side. Ha 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 ha.
Thank you, everyone. That's our show. But here is the final special announcement. We'll see you next time.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Phineas Tyrell Alexander Xavier Hollander Rat, and I live under the stage at Black Cherry Puppet Theater. Do you have any idea how noisy puppeteers can be with their clumping around, and their puppets clip, clap, clappity little feet right over my head? It's enough to drive a rat to distraction. While the past year may have been a challenging time for you, it's been a peaceful, blissful, quiet time for me. Although I have had to change from a diet of popcorn and spilled beer to garbage pickings from the market. But now I hear some news. Black Cherry is planning to open for live performances in September. That's right, some of the finest puppetry anywhere is coming back here to be performed right over my head. And music is coming back. Guitars strumming, horns blaring, drums drumming, and singers chasing any chance of peace and quiet right out of the theater. Well, at least the popcorn and beer will be back. So, If you're a puppeteer or a musician with a show or someone who wants to again be part of the audience at Baltimore's coziest little theater, dust off your shoes, polish up your mask, and come on over. September may seem like a long time away, but Black Cherry wants to play it safe with the well-being of their performers and audience. In the meantime, you can see live puppetry and a bit of music this summer in a few of Baltimore's parks and open spaces. Check out blackcherry.org, like Black Cherry on Facebook, or sign up for their newsletter to find out what's going on. Hey, and don't forget to hit that donation link so Black Cherry can pay the artist who works so hard bringing the magic of puppetry, music, and live performance to you.